The hero of this story finds himself in a strange place after he opens his eyes. His first question is where was he? And his second question, was he dead? He assumes that since he was still breathing and thinking, he was alive, but it is too dark for him to see around clearly and find where he was. That urge to discover his location changes into panic when he touches the surface of the wall surrounding him and finds that it was made of wood. Go-in-sung panics when he finds himself in a wooden box as he thinks that it could be a coffin. Everyone took him for dead and they put him in a coffin to be buried. He shouts for help but his voice reaches no one. But then he realizes something. If he was in a coffin, shouldn't he be laying down? Why was he standing? This uncertainty adds even more panic to his mind. He can only think that he needs to get out of this place quickly. If he was buried like this, he would die of suffocation or hunger. But since the wall was made of wood, he thinks that if he tried hard, he could break through it and find his way out. He punches the wooden wall with full strength and after a few hits, it cracks. But when it cracks, a liquid gushes out of the crack. The color is different from water and so is the viscosity of the liquid. Go-in-sung realizes that it was not water and decides to find what it was by tasting it. The liquid was sweet and a screen pops up in front of him explaining what it was. Go-in-sung is scared as he sees the holographic screen in front of him, confused as even more absurd things are happening. But then he takes a good look at what the screen was saying. The liquid that he just tasted was called mysterious honey. It was a normal grade consumable and could give the drinker some life force. There was an additional attribute for the honey that it could heal injuries. Go-in-sung notices that his wounds were really healed just by covering them in honey, and he felt full after drinking it. He feels that he had hit a jackpot in this situation where his survival was not certain. He could keep on healing himself as he punched the door, no matter how long he kept at it. His body would be in perfect shape. Even if he got hungry or thirsty, the honey water could take care of it. Thinking that, Go-in-sung keeps on punching the wooden wall thinking that it would break open soon. But time keeps on passing and he soon forgets how long he had been at this. He was now like a machine that kept on punching the wooden wall as if programmed to do that. Some more time passes and he loses track of time completely and of other things as well. He only had one goal, to break free of this coffin, and he did not care how long it took. His hard work is finally successful one day as he breaks through the wooden wall. It shatters at the end and he is relieved on seeing a bright light at the end. But his eyes soon get acclimatized to the new brightness level, and he looks around. He had finally come out of the coffin, but where was he now? The room was constructed with only stones and had no doors. He looks around and finds a drain of honey water that had kept him alive and healthy during his struggle. There was also a big hole at the top of the room which was blocked by a huge round boulder, and then there was a window with steel railings. He looks around to see what was the thing he was in for the last few days, and it does not resemble a coffin at all. But then he receives another message from the system that congratulates him as player number 5248. The message says that he had successfully managed to escape from the dungeon. But that was only the tutorial and he had completed it. Go-in-sung is shocked and he can only gape at the message. Another message comes below the previous one telling him that he had entered level 1-1 of the dungeon. He had to quickly move to the level 1-2 as there were only 90 slots left. Those who could not be in the top 90 could not go to the second floor. Go-in-sung is again shocked at seeing this message. He had suffered for a long time to get out of that wooden thing, and the system was now telling him that it was only the tutorial for a dungeon. Did that mean more and more dangerous things were waiting for him? The system sends him another message asking him to select a nickname. He had to choose a name to start his streaming broadcast. But Go-in-sung is flabbergasted by what had happened and is not in the condition to even process what was happening now. He falls to his knees and wonders if he was sucked into some weird game. He was going crazy thinking about it, when he speaks out his thoughts loudly and says, "Please save me." The system thinks that he replied to the request of selecting a nickname and registers "Please save me" as his nickname. He is shocked and looks up at the screen that tells him that he was now registered and his stream had started. He could check his channel using these icons. The system further informs him that he could not change his name till he reached the level 1-10 of Area 1. He had to stick with a name he did not even want. A viewer then joins his stream and his name is Self-Reflection 469. He reads the nickname "Please save me" and laughs at the boy saying he was an idiot. Go-in-sung is surprised yet again on seeing the comments on a floating screen, and the system tells him that it was the viewer comment window. It had now opened and his viewers could interact with him using it. But Self-Reflection 469 thinks that the name "Please save me" was also quite unique and entertaining. He decides to make it short and call the boy PS from now on. Go-in-sung now realizes that there was really someone on the other side of the screen and asks if he could see him. The man replies yes, he could obviously see him, That was what he was here for. It was a stream and it was not looking entertaining either. The system gives him another message saying that he could access the settings using the given button. Go In-sung decides to check the settings to get any idea about his situation and open the button. There he can see all the details about himself regarding the stream, and he does not understand what most of the things were. He however understands one thing. The settings tell him that his total broadcast time was 306 days and a few hours. That is when it hits him that he had been in the coffin for 306 days, whittling away at it using only his fists. He is shocked, but then he turns his attention to the viewer. He thinks, why were there viewers and what was this dungeon? He asks the viewer if he was dead and gets the reply that he was dead, yet he was not dead. Go In-sung does not waste a breath and requests Self-Reflection 469 to send him back to his home immediately. But the man says that it was the stupidest thing he had heard in a while. The scene at the other end of the stream is shown. In front of a Greek-style building, in a garden, a man is watering his plants. He does not look too old, but he is above the middle age. He is Self-Reflection 469 and he is talking with Go In-sung as he watches his stream on a holographic screen similar to what the Go In-sung sees. Go In-sung requests him to send him back home and then asks if he could do it. Seeing no reply, Go In-sung again asks him who he was. Self-Reflection 469 says that he could not, and even if he could, he was not interested. He says that he was too busy to answer all his questions right now. But Go In-sung asks him to at least help him out with what was going on. He asks him to at least tell him what was going on here and how could he get out of it. Self-Reflection 469 rebukes the boy and tells him that he was not his teacher or guardian and that he needed to teach him everything. Go In-sung can only cry with frustration and helplessness. Go In-sung is depressed and sitting quietly when he gets a message from Self-Reflection 469. It tells him that if kept on sitting like this, his stream was done for. No one would come to see him and they would leave as he does nothing. Go In-sung asks him what he should do then. Should he just randomly press any button? And it seems that pressing random buttons worked as a new feature opened in front of him. It is the dungeon store for level 1-1. There are various things he can buy in the shop that include bread, empty bottle, torchlight, steel saw, and a wooden ladder. The currency that this dungeon store used was called balloons or speaking balloons, and Go In-sung has no balloons right now. In fact, he has no idea what balloons even were. The screen also tells him that this store was open only for dungeon level 1-1 and things in the store would change on different levels. Go In-sung is confused, but he asks Self-Reflection 469 to just tell him one thing. He asks if he would be able to go back to his home if he cleared this dungeon, or if he ran away from it. Self-Reflection 469 tells him that he had no idea about that, but he knew one thing. If Go In-sung could not make it to the top 90 and move to the second level of the dungeon, the administrator would drag him away personally to meet King Yanluo, the king of hell. Go In-sung thinks that he really was dead. There was little doubt about that. And maybe this dungeon was the only way he stood a chance to return to life and not pass on. Just then another viewer joins his stream and Self-Reflection 469 welcomes him. The new viewer asks Go In-sung to show him a good welcome and he thinks that this is the chance. He needs to entertain the viewers so that they would give him balloons, exactly like a popular game show he saw on TV. He bows down and greets the new viewer loudly, saying that he was Go In-sung, and the viewers are disappointed. They say that he should refer to himself using his game name, "Please save me." Go In-sung tells that he was the 100th person to enter the dungeon level 1-1 out of the 101 people and only 90 people could move on to the next level. That meant there were other people here. His viewers mock him, saying that he could realize this only now. Maybe he was so dumb that he could not figure it out till now. It showed, since he took entire 306 days to get out of the tutorial. But Go In-sung notices that interacting with the viewers brought more viewers in. He asks them if they could tell him the way to get out of this place, and the viewers tell him that he should use his brain to get out of this place. If they told him anything, they would get warned, and in some cases, they could be dragged away too. Go In-sung asks them about using the brain for tutorial comment. He says that he just bashed his way through the wall. He punched it and broke through it to clear the tutorial. Did they mean he had to do that with this wall too? His viewers do not believe him and say that he should not try to fool them about breaking the wall. But Go In-sung is not lying and he shows them the proof, the shattered pieces of wood on the floor. His viewers are shocked beyond belief on realizing that he was telling the truth. They tell him that he was an idiot. He only had to push the wooden panel above his head to get out of the tutorial. Go In-sung feels betrayed on hearing this. He feels like he really was an idiot. He gets depressed after expressing his disbelief and cannot bring himself to do anything. but his viewers are now enjoying his stream and ask him about his experience. He says that he used honey whenever he got injured and kept on hitting the wall. They find him funny and decide to reward him with balloons. Self-reflection 469 sends him 7 balloons, and Go-in-sung forgets his depression on receiving his first balloons. He thanks the viewer and says that he would work hard to become the number one. And since the viewers cannot give him 2 direct hints, they tell him that he should pay attention to his surroundings. Everything in this room was here for a reason, and he should try to find the reason and use it to get out. The viewers talk among themselves that the boy was too serious, but it was the right approach as it was life or death for him. Self-reflection 469 is shown again in his garden, and he tells the boy to work hard as the dungeon was not a joke. The way Go-in-sung takes to get out of the first floor is to saw off the steel bars on the window. He has only managed to saw off one of the bars in a few days when he receives a message from the system. The user had already cleared level 1-1 and advanced to level 1-2 of the dungeon. The first person to enter 1-2 would be given a special reward, F-rank random skill box. Go-in-sung sighs that someone had already cleared over to the second floor while he was way behind. And there were also rewards for the first people to clear a floor. He decides to work even harder to get out of this level as well. But it has been many days and he has not made much progress at all. He was making progress at the pace of a turtle and had managed to saw off the first bar in 1 week. Self-reflection 469 asks him how long did he plan to do it. Go-in-sung knows that Self-reflection 469 is the only viewer who had stayed on his stream since the start. Everyone else had already left, and Self-reflection 469 attributes it to his boring actions. Go-in-sung says that what else could he do? He saw no other way out except the window. The boulder on the opening was too heavy and he could not move it even a little bit. He tried to find how wide was the honey water drain was, but his head could not fit it. Self-reflection 469 tells him to do something that makes sense. Go-in-sung says that what he was doing made sense. He was cutting off the steel bars to create a hole large enough for him to pass to the next level. This was the reason there was a saw and ladder in the dungeon shop. Self-reflection 469 is disappointed by his answer and tells him that he was leaving his stream as well. But Go-in-sung keeps toiling away, and it takes him another 10 days to saw off the second iron bar. He is exhausted and falls to the ground. He says that the steel saw was really useless. How could he cut the remaining 2 bars in time to be one of the top 90 users? As he is thinking about that, he receives another notification. Another user had reached level 1-2 and now only 15 spots were left. He gets up screaming, and it turns out that Self-reflection 469 is still watching his stream. He tells Go-in-sung that this was his reality check. He was probably destined to meet the King of Hell early. Go-in-sung is depressed and cannot think of anything. He unwillingly climbs up the ladders to cut the iron bars again, and Self-reflection 469 says that was he still trying to do it. He says that maybe PS was destined to fail. But at that moment, Go-in-sung notices something he had not seen before. He gets down thinking that there was a way to escape this place after all. But Self-reflection 469 thinks that he had given up on climbing out of the place. Go-in-sung takes the ladder and throws it across the room, smashing it into small pieces. The viewer wonders what the boy was doing. Had he gone crazy after realizing that he could not make it out of this room alive? The recent commotion has dragged more viewers to his stream, and they ask what Go-in-sung was doing. But he tells them to stay patient and see what he is going to do. He starts using the pieces of wood to start a fire by rubbing them on one another. Self-reflection 469 thinks that he might have a plan, but the other viewers do not look so confident. They are content with making fun of the boy. But Go-in-sung is successful in starting a fire and does not realize that his hair has caught the fire until his viewers remind him. He gets up and screams that he was on fire, and his viewers seem to enjoy his crazy activities. There are 2 of them apart from Self-reflection 469, and both of them gift him balloons and join his fan club. Go-in-sung is hurting because of the fire, but he thinks that since it had come to this, he better use this fire. He goes to the boulder and puts his head below it so that the fire would heat it. His viewers are confused and think that PS wanted to die now, but they are shocked when they see that the boulder was moving and shaking because of the heat. The boulder falls down on the floor, and Go-in-sung now has a reason to be happy and celebrate even though his hair is still burning. His viewers are confused and demand an explanation from him. Go-in-sung tells them that the thing that fell down was not actually a boulder. It was a turtle. Meanwhile, he puts out the fire. One of the viewers says that he already knew that too. The turtle is now standing on its feet, and Go-in-sung explains how he found out about that. He says that the rock looked strange to him because of the uniform pattern on its shell, and that he often found that the pattern had rotated a bit. He always had this feeling, but it was confirmed when he saw it move in person. Go-in-sung tells them the reason he believed that the rock was a turtle. He explains that the dungeon has 10 levels from 1-1 to 1-10, and using 10 and turtle, he could come up with the relation to the 10 signs of longevity. That, according to Go-in-sung, was the theme of the dungeon. His viewers think that it was nonsense and tell him that they were quite disappointed. He explains it to his viewers that while he was compiling the keywords he got to know, he stumbled upon this idea and made this hypothesis. He was told that everything here was for a reason, and therefore he thought he should find connection in things. Yet that was only a hypothesis he thought of because he had too much time. But now that he has managed to find an escape route, it is time to use it. Go-in-sung runs and jumps to the hole and climbs it up. He enters the new room and thinks that he has reached 1-2, but it is not what he thinks. He finds that he had entered a hidden treasure dungeon. Go-in-sung is surprised as he reads the information about the treasure dungeon on the screen. It was filled with precious treasure and he could leave with only one of those things in his inventory. He had a limit of 2 hours to select the thing he wanted to take with him. After that, he would automatically be taken to the room 1-2. Go-in-sung is happy to find something good, but he does not know much about the treasure dungeon. The ones who are really excited are the viewers. As there are many things in the dungeon room, Go-in-sung is confused about what should he choose. Meanwhile, his viewers debate whether or not Please Save Me was an overachiever. They come to the conclusion that he was dumb but he was unique. But then they tell him to not get carried away by the things he saw and act more carefully. There was a reason for everything here and he would learn it soon. Go-in-sung looks at the riches and gives a smug smile to his viewers. He asks was there really was a need for gold and silver in this place, because the majority of treasure was just that. The viewers hold back their desire to drop spoilers and tell Go-in-sung that he would find it out soon. They tell him that he could not tempt them into revealing information that they were not supposed to give him. Go-in-sung reads the comments and decides to find things out himself. He decides to start with a silver coin and checks its details with the help of the system. But it turns out to be a copper coin in disguise. The system says that it is an ordinary grade copper coin that could be used at the store in the hub. It was worth only 10 balloons at that. The coin slowly disintegrates, and as the dust drifts away the coin turns into its real form, a copper coin. Go-in-sung is astonished and asks the viewers what kind of trick it was. The viewers make fun of him, saying that this was expected to happen. He had been baited by a copper coin, but that happened to everyone when they eventually found a treasure dungeon. Go-in-sung decides to check a gold coin next and finds that deception runs in everything in this place. The coin really turns out to be a silver coin in disguise. It could also be used to buy things at the store at the hub. His viewers are even more amused to see him fall twice for the same trick, but Go-in-sung has found 2 important pieces of information. There was value of gold and silver in this world, and there was a place called the hub where it could be used. Go-in-sung tells his viewers that he was going to check other things now. He picks up a sword and the system tells him that it was a normal grade iron sword. It would add 5 points to his strength stat. Go-in-sung wonders if he should take the sword instead of gold and jewels. This could definitely help him in growing stronger and overcoming the dungeon. But then he feels that it was not good enough to waste the only chance he could carry away. While Go-in-sung is thinking about what should he choose, he hears the growling sound coming from the other side of the wall. He assumes that the turtle was hungry, but that is not his biggest concern right now. He thinks that since nothing in the dungeon was so simple and everything had a hidden meaning, the name of the hidden treasure dungeon suggested something as well. Go-in-sung concludes that the real treasure was hidden somewhere in this heap and he could find it if he tried. Maybe something special was waiting to be discovered by him. He dives into the pile of treasure, telling the viewers that he was going to look for something better. He rummages through the heap of treasure and the viewers are amazed at how fast his hands move while tossing away things he thought to be useless. But Go-in-sung finds nothing similar to what he was looking for. Neither did he find something that looked promising, and now he is disappointed. But then he thinks that it was no use being depressed about not finding anything. He could always select whatever came to his mind at the last moment. Right now he needed to take care of his health. Time was running out and he was not sure what he would face in the dungeon level 1-2. He needed energy, and for that he needed to eat quickly. He tells his viewers that he was going to do a mukbang, that is eating a large amount of food on a live stream, with just a loaf of bread and honey. His viewers say that this is definitely not a mukbang, and they are disgusted how he had slathered honey over the bread. But just as he is about to take a bite, he feels a small paw on his thigh. The turtle was in his room and now demanding food. Go-in-sung says that since the turtle gave way for him to clear level 1-1, and thanks to it he was able to come to this treasure dungeon, he would feed him. Go-in-sung gives the turtle a piece of bread, but the turtle seems unable to eat it despite opening its mouth wide. Go-in-sung looks into the turtle's mouth and sees that there was something inside it. It looked like a ball and it was blocking his way to eat anything. Go-in-sung decides to take out that ball so that the turtle could eat, but the viewers tell him that it was not worth the risk. The turtle would bite his fingers as soon as he took the ball out and he was going to lose them. They just saying that there were no hospitals here and he was going to miss his fingers later. But Go-in-sung says that he was quite confident and everything will be alright. He takes out the ball from the turtle's mouth in one swift motion and his viewers are impressed by his speed. The turtle starts eating the bread as soon as the ball is out of its mouth, and Go-in-sung realizes that it was not an ordinary ball. The system tells him that it was a rare grade item named as Orb of Capture. When fed to any wild animal, the orb could tame that monster with a 100% success rate. The one who fed the orb would be recognized as the wild animal by the tamed monster. But any monster tamed this way would revert back to the normal rank and all of its stats would also be reset. The master of the monster could raise its rank to heroic with time and care. Even a complete noob like Go-in-sung can tell that this thing was something awesome. It was much better than whatever he thought he could find here. He turns to his viewers and asks them if it was really as good as he thought. But they are already going crazy. They cannot believe that Go-in-sung had obtained a rare grade item on the first level of the dungeon. There is another feature of the stream, a special chat window that can only be used by viewers who gift the streamer at least 10 balloons. Self-Reflection 469 donates 20 balloons to Go-in-sung and asks him to admit it that he returned. When he says that, other viewers also think that it could be possible that Please Save Me was living his second life. This was his second time in the dungeon, that is why he could do things that defied common sense. But Go-in-sung is not paying any attention to the comments and thinking about the use of the orb. Since it said that wild monsters could be tamed, it must mean that they were monsters. He is scared thinking about the possibility of facing a monster. But then his viewers tell him that it was the most useful thing in this treasure room and he should keep it. When he faced a good monster later, he could use it then. But just then, Go-in-sung notices that the turtle had eaten his bread and was now laying on its back while relaxing. Go-in-sung is angry at the turtle and shouts at it, but then he realizes something. If the theme of the dungeon was the 10 symbols of longevity, then maybe the turtle was more important than he realized. He gets excited and shouts that he has got it now. His viewers are also curious and ask him to tell them more about it. But their curiosity is killed the moment Go-in-sung starts talking about the theme of the dungeon. He says that, like he said earlier, the theme of the dungeon was the 10 symbols of longevity. And if that was true, the main character of this first level was the turtle. And with that, Go-in-sung feeds the orb to the turtle. His viewers are not impressed and call Go-in-sung a lunatic and that he wasted the golden opportunity he got. But then it starts showing its effect on the turtle. The turtle starts to glow and energy starts releasing from its body. And then, the turtle transforms, revealing its real form. The system informs him that he had successfully tamed a giant spirit turtle. And Go-in-sung is intimated as he looks up at the fearsome creature. His viewers can also not believe it that the ordinary-looking turtle was a giant spirit turtle. They were slamming Please Save Me for wasting his treasure, but it turned out that his hunch was right. But that giant form is not maintained for long as the orb does the rest of its effect and the giant spirit turtle turns into the normal form. In this case, it was the infant form of the spirit turtle. The infant turtle is smaller than even before he ate the taming orb. The turtle looks cute and Go-in-sung picks it up and checks its stats. The infant spirit turtle was a normal grade monster, but it could be potentially raised up to mythic grade. He reads the description that tells him that the turtle carried a luminescent glow on its shell. It was a direct descendant of the black turtle. The infant spirit turtle also has a special ability. It secretes a healing liquid from its duodenum. Go-in-sung is happy and asks the viewers about the turtle. He knew it was good, but he did not know how good it was. But the hidden grade mythic must mean that it was very high rank. The viewers gift him balloons and tell him that it was indeed a high rank monster and Please Save Me was on a winning streak. Some of the viewers are even more excited about the turtle than Go-in-sung. They are also seeing a spirit turtle for the first time as well. Another viewer recommends Go-in-sung's stream to other viewers and his recommendations finally cross 100. The system informs him that his BJ level had increased from normal to high and now he could bring more viewers into his stream by purchasing additional viewer capacity. Go-in-sung thanks the viewers for their support and promises to work even harder now. He bows down and just then the fatigue that had been accumulating inside his body hits him. He collapses on the floor and falls asleep. Go-in-sung wakes up when he hears the sound of birds chirping. He opens his eyes and finds chicks in front of him. He thinks that he had fallen asleep on his job again when he sees the chicks on the conveyor belt reaching close to the end. His job was to separate the female chicks from the male ones. Go In-sung is confident in his skill and thinks that someone who had not trained in this field would not be able to do this at all. The female chicks he selected were sent ahead to the facility where they were raised to become layers, hen who would lay eggs. The rejected chicks, or the males, were rejected. Since they could not lay eggs, they were not useful to the industry and they were discarded. Go In-sung picks up a chick and examines that it was female, and places it in a box with other females. The males fall down the conveyor into a machine that would dispose of them. They were killed and placed in plastic bags. But as Go In-sung is working, he feels more sleepy than usual. He yawns and then something comes from behind him and grabs his chair. A purple apparition rises up from the bags where the dead males were kept and it starts attacking Go In-sung. It is screaming that males were also living beings. Go In-sung is terrified of the weird ghost and screams, but then he wakes up for real this time. He wakes up screaming and finds that he was in the dungeon level 1-2, and he was surrounded by the chicks whose voice he heard in the dream. The system informs him about the dungeon level 1-2. It was a food storage level. The system also says that the staircase to the upper floors has been destroyed, but if one had enough determination and wisdom, he could clear the level. Additionally, he was not allowed to take food to dungeon level 1-3. Go In-sung looks around and starts talking with the chicks, asking them if they were the reason he got the dream about his old days. He used to do a job to separate female chicks from the batch of mixed chicks, but that was a thing of the past. Now, Go In-sung wonders if these were what the system meant by food. He looks around the room and it is similar in design to level 1-1. There was a stream of honey water and the walls were made of stone, and there was an opening near the ceiling. But the difference was that the ceiling was really very high. Go In-sung was sure that he could not reach it even with the help of a ladder. But since there was a gap, he was sure that it was the common way out. But what concerns him more than the impossible height of the opening was the chicks. He was now tending to believe that the theme of the dungeon was 10 symbols of longevity, but chicks or chicken were not one of them. His viewers tell him that he was needlessly obsessed with the symbols. But Go In-sung decides to give up on that way and says that he knows what he needs to do. His viewers are surprised that he has figured the way out so soon, but they are soon proved wrong. Go In-sung was not going to do things the right way. He was going to do it his way. He starts punching the wall with all his might and his viewers enjoy the spectacle. But the stone wall of this level is much harder as compared to the wooden wall he broke down in the tutorial. He stops after a while, realizing that he was not making much progress. He decides to take a look at the dungeon store before anything else. There are new items in the store this time. Fin rope, chicken feed and growth accelerant were the only 3 items in the store. They are also more expensive than the things in the previous store, but this time Go In-sung has enough speech balloons. He realizes that the way to get out of this dungeon level had something to do with raising the chicken. He would do that later, but right now he decides to increase the number of his viewers. Previously, he could only support 5 viewers on his channel and now he needed more. He goes to the Senju River TV store to buy extra viewer capacity for 50 balloons. The system tells him that his viewer capacity is now 15 and he can expand his viewers capacity even more, and Go In-sung buys another round of capacity extension. Now he can have a maximum of 20 viewers. There are some other options in the shop and it states that more would be added after clearing dungeon level 1-4. As new viewers pour into his stream, Go In-sung is excited and promises them that he will no longer be in the last position. He was now aiming for the first position, but it does not seem that he can reach the first place anytime soon. He is just feeding his chicken and eating eggs and the viewers are not impressed. Some of the new ones are making fun of his nickname "Please Save Me," and many of the few viewers he has are bullies, and this saddens Go In-sung. But it is time to feed his chicken, which have grown quite a bit now. He gives them their feed and his viewers ask him why did he keep feeding them. Go In-sung excitedly replies that the hen were going to lay eggs for him to eat. His viewers ask him how could he know if they were hen and not males. Instead, they are more confident that all of them would turn out to be males. But Go In-sung excitedly replies that all of them were females. The viewers ask him how could he be so sure, was it his job when he was alive? Go In-sung replies that it indeed was. But then he received a message from the system. The first person had already cleared level 1-2 and received a F rank random skill box. Go In-sung is shocked and devastated that he had not even started making progress. At this rate, he might not be able to proceed to the next level in time. But good news is waiting for him when he wakes up the next day. His hens have all laid eggs. Go In-sung is now happy that he can finally eat something other than honey and bread. He needed some protein quite ardently and eggs were going to be perfect. He picks up one egg and the system tells him about the egg. They are eggs of the muscular system, and have the property to boost physical ability of people consuming them. The hens were a breed named Muscular System, and they were specifically bred for power-enhancing eggs which they laid on alternate days. They were beneficial to increase strength, muscle dexterity, and stamina. The viewers are excited to see another good item found by Go-in-sung, but they are yet to see the effects of protein in Go-in-sung's diet. He eats the eggs and keeps on punching the wall. His physique also improves quite a lot and he is looking buff, causing jealousy among his viewers even. And there is a clear improvement in his performance as his punches are heavier and faster. The wall is getting more damaged with each punch and his viewers say that they now saw hope in what Please Save Me was doing. His fists get injured as a result of punching the wall, and he has an idea. He gets his pet turtle to lick his wounds and they are getting healed even faster than by using the honey water. He has named the infant spirit turtle Younggui and the viewers think he is too cute. Go-in-sung is happy with his turtle's performance and rewards him with the chicken feed. The wall is also starting to fall apart and Go-in-sung says that now he sees some hope and could get first soon. But then the system gives another notification saying that another player had entered level 1-3, and now only 66 spots were left. Go-in-sung is shocked that more and more people were entering the next floor. Since the start of the first person 3 days ago, 13 people had entered the next level. His viewers say that this was a reality check for Go-in-sung, who is being too hopeful. He sighs and says that how could he enter the next floor quickly. He looks at the hen and wishes if only he could fly like them for just one moment. That would be enough for him to reach the opening at the top. But that gives him a unique idea. With this, the video ends. What will our hero do in the next video? What is his unique idea that will make him fly? Wait to find it in the next video.